So, 7 weeks today, we adopted a Romanian Rescue dog, and I'm just going to give an honest experience of how it's been for me. And obviously it's going to be different for everyone else who's adopted a rescue dog, but basically I've been wanting a dog for a really long time, and I haven't had a rescue dog for many years, and the last rescue dog I had was vicious. He was an aggressive pain in the arse. You know, he had his sweet side, but we weren't great on the training. So me and my partner, we were adamant that it had to be a rescue dog. We didn't want to go down the breeding route. So for a few months I did lots of research, and I tried for ages to get hold of rescue centres to see what dogs they had available. There was just a huge interest in dogs being adopted during the pandemic, so it made it really difficult for us to for anyone to get in touch with us. And unfortunately our garden is also quite small, and we had huge problems with the height of the fence. I spent all this time on YouTube researching training. You know, I wanted to go down the route of positive reinforcement training. So I watched pretty much every episode of It's Me or the Dog. It's been really helpful understanding positive training. We weren't having any luck with adopting any dogs in the UK, and eventually the rescue centre for Pawprints to Freedom got in touch with us and, you know, said, you know, we were interested in Sue. So we filled out lots of applications, and it took bloody ages, but they were really detailed. We had someone phone us up and do a FaceTime interview just to make sure that the house was suitable. We were interviewed for about an hour and a half, and we had to show around the house and answer questions on how we would deal with things. And it was the next day when we had the email to say that we weren't successful because the height of the fence was too short. So Rob actually went out and bought a new fence. He spent a few days off work putting this fence up to make sure it was 6 foot tall. We didn't hear anything back, and they were still coming to the decision, and they were saying that they weren't sure that our fence was secure enough, which was really frustrating. So during this time I'd given up, and I'd decided to look elsewhere for another dog because I didn't think this was going to happen. And then I think it was about 3 weeks later we finally got accepted for Sue. It was a bit strange because we hadn't even met Sue yet and paid the whole thing. So she was about $320 for the adoption fee, and she was with a foster carer at the time, so we had to go and pick her up then. Bearing in mind, Sue had never been in a car before apparently, so her experience of getting into a vehicle was coming from Romania to, you know, in a cage probably, on a coach, and then the next thing you know she's getting picked up by 2 strangers and then bundled into a car and then taken away. So when we took her home in the car, she lost all control of her bowels and her bladder, made an absolute mess. She was shaking, and it was quite traumatizing for her, to be honest. And so we tried to wash her down, but she ran away. She slipped out of her harness when we had her in the garden, so we couldn't even hose her down. We couldn't get anywhere near her. And at this point I was a little stressed because I thought, I don't know how the hell we're going to wash this dog. She stinks. She was covered in crap. So in the end we just had to let her do her own thing. As disgusting as it sounds, we just had to let her settle in the house. She immediately jumped up on the sofa. I didn't want to discourage it because we were fine with, we wanted the dog to be up on the sofa. But I was just sat there thinking, oh my god, this dog is covered in shit on my sofa. And that's all I could think about. But luckily it's okay, the sofa is all washed and clean now, so that's fine. The first week was really stressful. Both me and my partner were laying awake most nights going, what on earth have we done? Have we made the right decision? We did have that slight regret, because she came with a lot of issues, and it was really frustrating because we were told that she likes dogs, we were told that she didn't have any separation anxiety or she wasn't destructive, and unfortunately she had all of those. So she had separation anxiety, she tore down the Christmas tree, she chewed the lights, she tore down the blinds, and she was terrified of dogs. She was baring her teeth and she was growling and barking at other dogs. So, like, she hadn't actually attacked any, but you know, at this point we couldn't even take her out for a walk. For the first 3 nights she howled, she barked, she whined, and it was unbearable. It went on during the night, so me and my partner barely got any sleep. I ended up having to buy earplugs, and I thought, I don't know if I can cope with this, and I was adamant I didn't want her in the bedroom, so I thought I wanted her downstairs, I wanted her sleeping in her bed. She refused to sleep in her bed, she wanted to sleep on the sofa instead, and in the end I gave in and I said to my partner that I'm happy to just leave the door open so she knows that she can come in. And then miraculously she just stopped. She came upstairs when we went to bed, she peered through the door and then buggered off back downstairs again. I haven't heard anything ever since. All she wanted to know was that we were there. She just wanted to check up on us. She's been absolutely fine since. We couldn't take her for a walk for the first 3 days, so we had been warned that she was scared of the harness and she was terrified of the lead. We did try and put a slip lead around her, so when we first brought her the first day, we tried to take her in the garden to go to the toilet, slipped out of the lead, and then we couldn't catch her, we couldn't even get her inside. It was really stressful. We tried to coax her in, but she was barely eating anyway, so she wasn't really taking anything from us. We thought we'd let her settle for a few days and go from there. So it was when I was in work, I had a photo pop up on my phone, and it was from my partner, and he'd actually managed to put the harness on, which I was absolutely relieved. I was like, oh, hallelujah, we can finally take her for a walk. So all he did was get her out in the front garden, and she panicked and came straight back in again, but we gradually managed to build up going around the block. So every time we saw a dog, we'd give her a treat just to make sure that, just to let her know that it was fine and not all dogs are threats. And pretty much every dog that we passed, she would cower, she would panic, she would try and run in the opposite direction. And so she's done a lot better now, and we've gone further. So on Christmas Day, my partner actually took her for a 15-mile hike. He took her up in the hills and she was good as gold. But with me at the moment, I'm struggling to control her because she just gets really excited, and I think she has what's called zoomies. So especially if we go in fields, she'll just suddenly get this surge of excitement and then she'll just run, and it's really difficult to control her, and sometimes she'll just get tangled up in her leash, she'll start panicking. We ended up having to get a trainer involved because I just said to my partner, like, I couldn't deal with taking her for a walk. It was because it wasn't enjoyable for me. I was worried that she was going to do some harm to herself, and I was just worried that we were going to end up losing her, because we were told by the charity that she had to be double-leaded, which, in all fairness, we did do for the first couple of weeks, but you could tell she just wanted a little bit more freedom, so we tried her on the flexi lead, which a lot of the time she's pretty well behaved on it, but there are some times and she'll just try and run. When we asked the trainer, she did say that it was excitement more than panicking and trying to run away. It's just the urge that she has, that she just wants to run. It's New Year's Day, and I've taken Susu out for a really long walk. So I'm already at 4 miles, and there's a woodland near my house. But I say near, it's about 3 miles away. I haven't been there for a while, and I'm absolutely caked in mud at the moment. She's a little bit of a pain in the arse. She's just constantly zigzagging in front of me and stopping all the time, and trying to lunge. Like, she's got this really bad habit at the moment of just like lunging and trying to run away, and I don't know if it's excitement or zoomies or stress or anxiety, I don't know. So trying to work on that one. So I've got her on double lead at the moment, just to keep her a bit under control, because when she was on the extendable, she just goes nuts, especially in big fields anyway. So far it's been a quite nice walk, and she seems to be enjoying herself, I think. Fascinated with ice. She's tried pouncing on the ice, and it was like the most dramatic downward dog I've ever seen. It was really funny. So I brought Susu to this woodland. I haven't been here for a few months, since the summer, and she's never been here before. And it's so muddy. Look at my boots. And Susu is just covered in mud. And he's lovely here though. But I think I'm gonna have to go back a different way because it's just ridiculously muddy here. I think she's either scared of sheep or she really wanted to chase them, because there were sheep in the woods let loose, and she just suddenly wanted to, or she just kept pulling towards them, and she started whining, so I had to calm her down. So I wasn't sure what she was going to do. She seems to like the woods. So we're hoping to try and get her to a secure field at some point, so just to let her run. But unfortunately, and this is the biggest problem I have with her, is she won't get in the car. We have tried multiple times, well, pretty much nearly every day we've tried getting her in the car. Even the trainer tried getting her in the car. She wasn't having any of it, so she's absolutely terrified of going in. When we have managed to get her in, we'll clip her in straight away. We'll take her for a spin around the block. But unfortunately, she ends up shaking, she starts drooling. She's just obviously really stressed, and just taking her around the blocks is just not, it's just not good for her. So, and it's really frustrating because we wanted to go down because we wanted to do it positively and trying to encourage her to go into the car. It's a bit disheartening when you have people telling you that we need to put our foot down and just bundle her in the car. So basically just pick her up and just shove her in there. It's not going to do her any good. She doesn't want to be in there. And we tried high value treats, so if anyone has any ideas or any tips, then please let us know. It'd be very much appreciated. She'll get in there, but we want her to actually stay in there. We want her to feel comfortable, but she'll just jump straight back out again. I'm finding it difficult because I love the outdoors, and especially during lockdown it's difficult because we're really limited to where we can go. But we've done a lot of the walks in the area, and I am getting a little bit bored of just doing the same route. So it has been a good chance for us to try and teach her to get into the car, but I want to go exploring the mountains. I want to walk for miles. She has a lot of issues and she still needs a lot of work, and I know it's only been 7 weeks, which is fair enough. They say to give it 3 months. My partner begs to differ. He thinks that she's brilliant, and inevitably they were going to build a bigger bond between them because my partner works from home. So he's with her full time, and she has latched onto him, which is fine, but it's got to the point where she struggles when he leaves the house. I'm with her. I will try to encourage her, give her some games to play so it can take her mind off it, but she's settled down. She has been doing a bit better. I've managed to get her socialising. My friends have introduced their dogs to her as well, which is great, and she's been fine. She's had to play. Even though I'd done a lot of research on training and understanding what happens when you adopt a Romanian Rescue, I think you don't realise the baggage, I suppose, that they come with when you actually go through it. When you actually experience it, they do have a lot of issues, and it was more than we felt that we could really deal with. We're still trying. We're still, in a year or so time, she'll be a completely different dog and she'll be amazing. We're not I don't want anyone to think that we're going to give up on her, because we're not. And I'm just really trying to build her confidence at the moment, and at the moment I suppose I'm just struggling, especially with the fact that we can't take her anywhere, we can't get her in the car anywhere. She was living with a foster carer. She was also living with a couple of cats. So as far as we were aware, she was fine with the cats, and she didn't chase them, she just ignored them. But we have found quite recently that she's got a huge hunting instinct. So when we take her for a walk, she'll try and chase squirrels. I literally just got back from a walk now and she just tried to chase the neighbour's cat. So I am a little concerned, because I would like to introduce her to my parents at some point, and they do have a cat. Obviously that's not going to be for a while, especially with lockdown at the moment. Don't know if she'll actually kill or she'll do anything. I'm not sure. My partner seems to think that she would, so she has tried hunting rabbits as well, and she's been nearly successful. So that was something that we weren't aware of either. So we don't know if she's a German Shepherd or Greyhound cross. So they have quite high prey instincts, so all they want to do is chase. The day she nearly yanked my arm off because she tried to chase a squirrel, and I didn't see the squirrel. It was just as we were coming around the corner, I just felt my arm nearly get pulled out of my socket, and she was trying to chase the squirrel into the bush. Can be quite stubborn as well, and sometimes she just will refuse point blank to go where you want to go. If you've got a route in your head, very likely it's not going to be the same route that you plan to go on, because she'll want to take you somewhere else. So I'm trying to be a bit firm with her, but also make sure to reward her when I can. And luckily she's got a huge appetite for food, so giving her treats is no problem at all, but she doesn't play with any toys. We have tried her with toys and she doesn't really know what to do with them. She'll maybe just bite on it and then just let go. Well, I hope people found this quite useful. I do apologise if it is just me moaning about it, because it has only been 7 weeks and this is how it's been for me the last 7 weeks. So I'm hoping maybe later on I can do an update on how she's doing. Quite a few things we still need to work on. Contact with the trainer, so she's still going to be working with us regularly to make sure that we help build her confidence. It's not all bad. She is lovely. She is a lovely girl, and she's just very shy. She's very sweet, and she does this really cute thing where she'll come up to you and she'll just crave attention. She'll put a paw on you, and when she wants a fuss.
And still not be touching the bottom, like not having flat. If I went that pressure on my Land Cruiser, my rims would be touching the bloody ground.
And here we are at the Warren River mouth, and this is the end of our beach run.
Two things.
Oh my
My
god.
time is scrubbing a little bit. The other thing, this is what the local was telling us about.
That's so
We
cute.
can't cross because the Warren has broken its banks. Now it may look shallow there, but we just witnessed a few guys try and cross it on foot before, and they sank below knee deep. The problem is, you probably could cross it. That is the most likely spot of crossing it. But if you get that wrong, you're stuck. The waves are right there. And no one's crossed it for quite a while, so I would deem this uncrossable at this stage.
And she is really smart as well, so my partner was able to get her to do lots of basic tricks. So far she's been able to do down, touch, sit, paw, roll over, which was one we've just recently got, and really happy. So she is really smart. She enjoys the dog's puzzles as well, so she's doing really good at those.
Touch. Sit. Good girl. Down. Good girl. Good girl. Up. Lay down. Roll over. Roll over. Roll over. Good girl. Roll over. Find it. Good girl. I don't really know why I'm actually taking her. Just feeding a treat slowly. Find it. No! 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 Find it. Good girl.
Hope that was helpful and thank you for watching. Bye!